Let's sync it up. 3, 2, 1.
Nice.
Right? That's how the magic is made.
Right?
Why invest in a clunky and complicated clapperboard when you could just use your hands? Doesn't it Steve Jobs who was attributed saying like he nixed the Newton because you couldn't use the other 4 styluses on your hand? That's the same deal. Anyway.
No one knows what you're talking about.
Well,
I'm sorry.
you should see the movie Jobs. Michael Fassbender is a dream. Anyway, so yeah, welcome to the ComicPop panel officially. I'm Sal.
And I'm Tiffany.
And what we thought we'd do is, we do YouTube videos. Most folks who come to YouTube panels want to know how to make their own YouTube videos or how our YouTube videos are made. So the bulk of this show will be Q&A. It'll be a discussion show where we talk to you guys and get your questions and try to answer them as best we can.
Pretty much about anything.
Yeah, and it can be about comics, but it's mostly going to be about like the process of making YouTube videos.
You don't know that.
Well, I really can't see that far ahead in the future. I can't see far in the future at all, actually, really. Anyway, let's see. I gave them a little rundown of what the shows we make.
Okay.
And contextualize a little bit. Actually, I'd like to see a show of hands. Who here actually watches the channel?
Oh, wow.
That's very encouraging. Cool. If you
guys are
don't,
awesome.
Don't feel excluded. Welcome to the show. Hopefully, by the end of it, you'll subscribe.
You could do it on your phone right now.
We're in your pocket. Reach in your pocket, and that's where we are,
like,
waiting for you.
You said that before. It's always a little creepy.
You know what? Jerry Seinfeld said it, and if, damn it, I'm going to use it.
Okay.
And you know what? He is a little creepy, too, so I guess that doesn't really help.
No.
Well, whatever. He's also incredibly successful.
Well.
I'll take it. Anyway, but yeah, so we do this show, which started out as just a straight-up discussion show where I explain comics to 2 people who didn't know anything about them.
Yeah, it used to be Sal explaining comics to a living room full of people who didn't really know much about it or keeping up with popular comics. I was reading indies at the time, so I was always hearing about what was going on in the world of Spider-Man. From Sal, what was going on with Batman and all that, and then sometimes when we had folk over, he would just launch into something, or that someone would pick up a book that was there and be like, what is this?
Yeah.
What could this possibly have to do with anything?
Yeah.
And Sal would launch into the long history of that. He wanted to get into YouTube, had really been thinking about it.
Yes.
Literally in the kitchen, Ben Ethan.
Our other hosts.
Yep, picked up Spawn?
Venom Returns.
Venom Returns. I always want to say it's Spawn.
I
always
know.
wanted to be Spawn because it makes more sense to me.
Yeah, well, because it's so bizarre.
Right, picks up Venom Returns, and I'm like, and he launches into it, and I'm like, just stop everything you're doing. Daniel and I were literally about to launch into playing some video games, and I'm like, stop. And I ran into the office, and I grabbed our little tiny silly handy cam that we started on, and I put up a little tripod, and I put the handy cam on it right in the kitchen, and I'm like, just go now.
Yeah.
We'll quietly play games in the other room. Just pretend like there's nothing there, and just do this.
Yeah.
Because this is your show.
That's right. Yeah.
And you're fools to not be recording this.
It's true. And we launched into it like we had been waiting for someone to hand us an opportunity for a show. We were like, hi, welcome to the show. I'm saying, like, we had the show name ready to go. It was Back Issues.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, oh, we'll call it Back Issues. Because, like, I hadn't seen any show online called Back Issues. It lent itself to that because I'm talking about older books. And Ben wanted to call it Encyclopedia Nerdtanica, which, for the life of me, I don't understand.
By the way, that came back.
It did come back.
Because when we were trying to name our new kitten, one of the members of the population tweeted at me, and they're like, name it Encyclopedia Nerdtanica. And I was like, that's really clever.
Good deep dive. But I'm not saying all that.
Not doing that.
She gets stuck on the roof.
I'm
not
going
to yell
to the
that.
vet and being like, what's her name?
Yeah.
It's Encyclopedia Nerdtanica?
It appears Encyclopedia Nerdtanica has worms.
No.
I'm not going to go through that.
I can't do that.
Also, no one's going to sit through that. Like, the YouTube going audience is fast paced and has no time. Everything's got to be truncated. No one's going to say Encyclopedia Nerdtanica. By the time that happens, I've aged 3 years.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we have like hour-long discussion shows.
Yes.
So,
never mind the fact that the show literally is an hour or more. But yeah, and it went from there. And then it was just a question of like, let's make more shows. Let's make more. We'll see
Always
something
more.
and be like, I like what they're doing. Let's do that here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where the show started.
That's it. No one asked that question, but now you know.
You're welcome.
Now you know.
Yeah, so I figured what we do is we're going to keep kind of loose, and we're going to just kind of like take questions. Gonna take questions as they go, and
there's a blue light special somewhere out there.
yes. Oh, good.
And we're missing it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Right.
One. We went to one over by the Wayne Hills Mall or whatever
Yes,
that
the Wayne
mall
Hills
is.
Mall has one.
There's like a Kmart.
It's nearby.
Yeah.
You can go to it right after the show.
It's dying.
It is dying, but there are still blue light specials you can enjoy and appreciate there.
Yeah.
Is there a panel party at the Kmart?
Yeah.
No, we can go. We can do better.
Yeah,
I don't know what.
Well, we can go to the dead Toys R Us that's next door.
Nice.
I'm sorry.
It's a deep cut. It's a deep cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that one's dead.
That one, like the one near us was like, we're gonna be closing
Pretty soon.
10% off. A week before that, this Toys R Us was like, everything is 70% off. We're like, oh, you haven't been doing well for a long time.
Yeah, they were
then.
once they got the word, that was like the first store.
They were like,
axed.
oh, thank God.
Yes, let us die.
It's like the officer showed up to put the deer down. They were like, thank you.
I can't. Yeah. No.
We can't. We're not going to make it. I don't care how hard you want us to go off into the forest.
Yeah.
Just shoot me.
Thank you. It's dark. But yeah. So what the hell were we talking about?
We were going to see if you guys had any questions. Because
Yeah.
we're keeping it loose. Anybody?
That's right. And then if we don't get any questions, we'll just talk.
Then we're just going to talk about
We'll talk about the channel and comics in general.
and things that we've read.
Yes. In the back. Sorry.
I was curious. Visited stores recently. Getting back into the comic book thing with my daughter.
Welcome back.
I've noticed there's new issues of comic books coming out, and I guess part of my question is, if you had an idea that you were interested in maybe starting an issue yourself, can you give us an idea of like what the cost would be to I mean, how big of an endeavor is this to get if you had an idea and you wanted to try to get into the business?
If you want to make your own books.
Make your own line of comics.
Okay.
An idea and you want to try to explore it.
All right, so Sal has
We have a lot
experience
of
with this.
experience
We
with
have
that.
experience with this in general. Like Sal's put out a couple of books, and I helped him along
Yeah.
with the process.
Yep.
Mostly because my expertise really is in graphic design. So I was like, I know about printing. That's the
Yeah.
part I can help you with. But please
And
don't ask
logo
me
design
to,
and formatting.
But
and
like,
everything.
don't ask me to edit your work because literally my form of editing is just like that looks like a comma should go there because that would look nice.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's just not how
Well, that's
grammar
not right.
works.
That's not how that works. And I'm an English teacher, so that worked out great.
Yeah. No, but the overall cost is if you are doing the writing yourself, great, you're free. Good for you. If you're doing the art yourself, also free. Otherwise, you're going to have to find an artist and you're going to have to pay a per page rate. Most artists have a per page rate unless they're kind of new to this, in which they'll look and see what the current running thing is for their skill bracket. Because even though that word is just something I'm using, there is really a skill bracket. How long you've been working, how good you are, what you've worked on beforehand. An artist will fit into one of these brackets and they'll know what to charge based on their peers. So, I mean, it can be kind of costly, but there are ways to get around certain things if you're willing to cut out in certain areas.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, as you can tell, it's an exhaustive process. It's very intensive.
But it's rewarding.
It is rewarding. We produced 4 or 5 different series ourselves, 4 or 5 different books ourselves. And each one is like a nice little monument to who we were at the time, and it's really cool to have it, especially because, like, you know, if you love comics like we do, you know, you want to hold something in your hand and look at it and be like, look, I have a Superman comic and my comic. This is something that really, like, is special to me. It's something that I didn't expect I wanted. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so, but it's hard and it's costly and you'll never make your money back. So that's the other thing. Like, you could spend like anywhere between $6,000 and $10,000 for one issue, and you'll never get your money back. But
the fact is, like, think about hobbies in general. Like, you spend money on hobbies, you're not selling that hobby most of the time.
No, it's true.
You know?
Like, I want to build model trains. You're not selling that train set unless you find somebody who's also into model trains, I guess. But even then, you're not going to.
But they don't want to do the work.
Yeah, but exactly. I want to get into model training, but I don't want to. I want to cut out all that hobby stuff.
Lego's already built.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and super glue them together. I don't want to drop it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's.
I don't want to risk creativity happening.
Right.
Here.
Oh, what if I know? My parents told me I was not special. I'm going to keep it that way.
Oh my God.
We take it dark on ComicPop.
Just prepare for
But no,
that.
it's yeah. So making comics is hard. It's thankless. It's but it is rewarding.
Yeah.
And it's expensive, but I think it's worth it.
Yeah.
You know, it depends on what you're doing and what your end game is. Maybe your end game is just to get your foot in the door, because every comic book publisher will tell you that if you want to get into the industry, I want to write comics. Well, good luck. But like, they'll tell you, make your own comic.
Yeah.
And then show me you can do that, because what you're basically showing them, they don't even really necessarily care about the content of the comic. They want to know you care, like that you want to do it. Mm-hmm. You have the tenacity to go through this process, and that, like, a comic book writer is never just a writer, unless they become one or they're brought in from another source, like book publishing or movies and stuff.
Yeah.
But a comic book writer is also like an editor, and is also a talent manager, and is also, you know, like all these other different jobs that you didn't know what kind of fell under that purview. So they want to know that, like, you can edit and you can write and you can find an artist, you can work with an artist, you can negotiate pay rates, you know how many panels belong on a page, you know how to format a page, you know how many, and so you're showing them, not only do I want to write comics, but I'm serious about it, and I know how the industry now works. So that's really the what they're looking for when they say, I want to see your comic. And even then, it's not a guarantee. But that's why Comixology Smith's really great. Not to shill for them, but they are, number one, one of the only digital games in town.
Yes.
And number two, I like what they do.
There's Google too.
There's
I
Google.
don't know how that works.
I don't know,
really.
but it's really nice.
Google.
But Comixology's great, and they'll do the guided view for you and everything.
Yeah.
But
it's very lovely.
But it's you're in good company if you follow that route.
Yeah.
I've got a question about back issues.
Right on.
Obviously, the two of you have an encyclopedic knowledge of comics, but it's got to be challenging. Okay. It's got to be a challenge to try to figure out exactly what you want to cover in a show like back issues.
Yes.
So I was wondering, do you constantly find yourself going back and reading stuff that you already read, or are you always looking for older stuff that maybe you can pull into the show and just a little bit of?
Yeah, the question is basically what goes into choosing a book on back issues, and the reality is, when we first started, it used to be just we used the format that started the show, which was there's a book lying here, that's the one we're doing. Over time, we found we got a lot of requests because there was a hungry audience out there that wanted to see our opinions on their favorite books or their least favorite books. And so we had a lot of requests, and we continue to get them to this day. And while I want to honor all those requests, the trick is me knowing what happens in the book and me having a familiarity with the comic itself. And so when it comes to choosing a book, especially one that we're going to do on the show, I do need to reread it just because I want to be as familiar as I can with it. We used to pick it, like I said, we'd pick it up and I'd be like, oh yeah, I remember that, it just happened. Like, oh yeah, that happened, I forgot about that. Or I'd miss a key moment in the book and then have to revert to it later and go, oh crap, right, that happened. Like, as we all know, number one, the show ain't scripted. And number two, we don't all remember those details as encyclopedically as we like to think we do. And so, while I do appreciate the compliment, that we have an encyclopedic knowledge, the fact is, we read comics the same as you, and we remember the details as vividly or as not vividly as you do. And so it helps, especially now that the show has taken on a life of its own and people really like watching it, and I keep trying to make it better, that I definitely need to go back and look it over. And when I try to do more than rereading it, just being like, okay, I need to know that in this panel, on this page, this happens. I like to know what went into making the book, because I love creator interviews. I love getting the insights into why something exists and what went into the process of making the thing I like. So I love picking the brains of creators and finding out where everything that I like came from. I find that our audience, and not just our audience, but comic book reading audiences in general on YouTube don't care. But they do. The thing is, if there's an interview with Scott Snyder, it will do pretty well. But if there's a book, or there's a video about the book that Scott Snyder wrote and what happened between the pages, that will do much better. Which I find to be a crime, but the reality is the people who favor those other stories, they want to know what happened in between the panels, they just don't know it. So when we do back issues, I like to be like, oh, did you know that Sam Keith really hates the Max and he hates his success and he really doesn't want to do this book? And so it informs a lot about these pages here. I don't know why I picked the Max.
Because you love it?
I do, but I picked the least popular Image comic from 25 years ago. Instead of just being like, oh, did you know that Scott Snyder thought that this had happened, the Court of Owls was developed as a pre-New 52 pitch and he had to rework it to make it into
it was a secret cry.
Yeah,
from inside.
Please want to do the Max.
For me, I know he has a way stronger memory for that kind of thing. If I'm just casually talking about it, I'm way better. You put me on that couch, all of a sudden my brain's like, hi, no. Let's talk about anything else. I'm like, So I definitely have to reread everything.
Yeah.
And then oftentimes I call Danielle on my way home from work and I use my commute and I'm just like, I'm literally going to tell you the story, and I remember for Ghost Rider when we did that, because I was like, there was so much that happened in that book.
You did
I was
two
like,
Ghost Rider episodes. You're talking about the Danny.
I'm talking about the Danny Ketch one.
Wait, no.
No,
I
we
did the other Ghost Rider book. Anyway.
You're thinking about another one that we're thinking about doing.
Yes. Excuse me.
Oops. But I remember calling her because there was so much in that book that I was just like, I need to just tell you about this. So she was like intimately familiar with Ghost Rider by the time we had filmed that back issues, because I was like, I have to be able to put this together.
Well, you also were like, make sure to poke holes in my boat. Like,
Yeah.
say, like, this doesn't make sense.
Who's
that again?
I need you
What
to
did you
channel
say?
Ethan and Ben as best that you can.
But be more critical, because, like, you need to, like, temper your steel.
Yeah, well, give me your most judgmental version of both of them.
Right.
So that was great. So I was like ready to go, and they were totally cool about it.
Yeah, and they don't ask questions
And,
that you're
then
like...
Ben wasn't even on, so you were on instead. So that was all over.
That's true.
But in terms of choosing them, oftentimes it is just something that sounds like, I think people are going to really dig this. I really want to hear what Ben and Ethan have to say about this.
Yes.
Lately, we've been trying to pay attention kind of more to things that are coming out.
Yeah,
trying
when
to
we switched
correlate
over.
to things.
We have a
We have a schedule now.
we have a schedule
it's
that I
in
follow.
like a table. It's pretty. It's
pretty cool.
sweet.
Yeah.
I never remember to look at it, and I'm always just like, when am
Yeah.
I hosting? And he's like, did you look at the table? I'm like,
No.
no.
Yeah, we were in a YouTube channel network, and we just switched over to another network a few months ago. And our channel manager was like, "Hey, you really need to start like tying these things in with the movies.
Yeah.
Like, if Infinity War's coming out, if you don't do a book with the word infinity in it, like, what's the point? Like, why do a Batman book at that point?" And I'm like, good point. So we're trying to coincide with them and see if, and just to see if there's a
Just
correlation.
to see if it works, but also we're trying not to do the most obvious one either.
Yeah.
So like that happens, and then every once in a while there's just a book that comes up that we're like, I just really want to do this.
Yeah. Well, like a good example is when the Deadpool movie came out. Everybody, and we work with a lot of the same people, or we know the same people, or we're all in the same like contact form. When Deadpool the movie came out, you can bet your bottom dollar that like Benny the Comic Historian was going to do a Deadpool book that week, and so was Rob from Comics Explained, and so was like Scott from NerdSync, and I was like, how are we going to set ourselves apart from it, and yet still be relevant? You know, because like I could do like Deadpool monkey business, but I don't know if that's going to be as well received. But I also don't want to do the origins of Deadpool because they just learned about it from Rob, and so you'll have to factor in what everybody else is doing when you want to hit something that is like striking while the iron's hot. So I did Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe because I'm like, that's an eye-catching title. And you don't need to know all this backstory about Deadpool. You just need to know, I think Deadpool's cool and funny. Like, well, now watch him kill Captain America. Like, and that was our way of setting ourselves apart, while also still, you know, jumping on someone's coattails.
Right.
And yeah.
And like also like, all right, so I had the chance to finally do Doom Patrol with the guys, and like that worked out simply because it was like, technically Milk Wars is coming out. This is really just an excuse. I just want them to hear the story, and like that was worth every moment of that episode. Like I thought to myself, this is a disaster. Like every moment of filming that episode, I was like, there's nothing usable here. We can't use any of this. And Sal, after he cut it, was just like, it's fine.
Yeah.
And I was like,
and it was.
It
was
like,
a great
it
episode.
felt like a hot mess, but like sometimes it's just an excuse because it's just like, I think they're gonna have fun.
But we'll coordinate it. Like right now, we're like, okay, if a movie comes out, we'll have a book that is in some way related to the movie come out, and if there's a comic book event coming out, we'll have a episode come out that ties in with the comic book event, which is easier said than done. Like we had New Mutants, Demon Bear ready to go.
Oh my god, yeah.
And then the movie got pushed back a whole year, so we're like, oh well, that's the end of that for now.
Yep.
But Milk Wars was like, oh, there's a Doom Patrol event happening.
Yeah.
Let's do Doom Patrol.
I just want to do Doom Patrol.
Let's see if it works.
It doesn't matter. Like very few people read Milk Wars.
Yeah,
I
but,
don't care.
You know, like Dark Knight's Metal was ending, so like, oh, we should do a Scott Snyder Batman book when the book ends. It didn't work out that way, but it's coming out soon, so it'll be kind of like the same thing. I think No Justice will come out around the same time that the Scott Snyder book we do will come out. So we're seeing if there's some correlation between the movies and the comics, and I've noticed. Honestly, I've noticed that like it's kind of equal. Like the movie-going audience will watch back issues the same as a comic book-going audience, and even if there's like a big like Daredevil event, we do a Daredevil book. You know, we still get a sizable bump. You know, the event versus the movie. I've noticed that like there isn't like one over the other.
No.
Black Panther did well. I think better because we did it when the movie came out though.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I hope that answers your question.
And more.
Yes.
I know, of course, with the off-the-cuff nature of back issues, you don't really know how it's going to turn out going into it.
Yeah.
Are there any issues of either back issues or good, bad, the ugly that you've ever just scrapped during the filming or editing process and just didn't work out the way you thought it would?
Yeah, the first time we did year one, we were about 15, 20 minutes into the episode, and I wasn't feeling it. Like, it was me talking a lot. It wasn't a lot of interaction.
Yeah.
I didn't have my heart in it. I missed a major point, like, that I had to go back and retread.
This.
And I was like, this sucks. Let's just go to Applebee's. And we just closed production. That was back when we shot at Funny Books. And I was like, let's just leave. I don't want to do this anymore. This sucks.
Yeah.
And like by the end of like because that was back when they had bottomless appetizers. So around our third or fourth, what was it? It needs to be the right one. It's the artichoke dip. I was like, okay, we're good again. And then I waited a year and we did it again.
Yeah.
But I also didn't want it to be fresh in their minds because
yeah.
I really like to throw Ben, Ethan, and or Tiffany off their game.
Yeah.
Like I'll go, okay, we're gonna do this book, but it's really this one, and they're like, what? I'm like, you weren't ready for that one, haha. I don't know. It's just for me, really.
But that was pretty much it. Like every other show has pretty much gone out.
The only things
pretty
that have
regardless
anything
of like
that
how terrible we feel when we're making it. Like seriously, there have been episodes where I know you've been done shooting,
and I'm like, that sucks.
And I've been listening to it. Like if I'm in the studio, sometimes I'm listening to them. When he was shooting at our home, I would just be in the other room playing Overwatch usually very quietly. I have a mechanical keyboard, right? I had to retire that because
you can hear it.
Back right here.
I'm editing. I'm like, really?
I'm like, I'm sorry.
That was more like that I couldn't believe I could hear your keyboard from, like, I don't know, 50, 80 feet away.
Right, but I'd be listening to him and I'd be like, dude, it wasn't as bad as all that. Like, it sounded really good.
Yeah, and I'll edit it and be like, no, this was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Like, or like, I could save this with editing.
But for the most part, like, we just kind of soldier on with whatever we kind of create.
Yeah.
Like, we're just like, you know what? Like, this is who we are.
Right, and that's the thing about YouTube in general is you're failing in public. Like, when you make a video, because, like, I hate to quote him, but George Lucas used to say that films are never finished, they're only abandoned, which I hate, because it's like, no, Star Wars is done, stop messing with it. But, thankfully he can't anymore. But, like, the point is, with YouTube videos, that couldn't be more true.
Yeah.
Like, I've known too many people who, like, when I want to start a YouTube channel, but, like, I get into the editing process and I just get, like, or I get into the filming process and I get so in my own head that, like, I flub a line or I screw something up or I say something wrong or I don't like how I looked or I made a weird face, and so they'll do like 30, 50 takes of just this, like, of a vlog, which is supposed to be you being honest with your audience. And it's like, yeah, no, you have to just be happy with what you have and be like, I'll get it better next time.
Yeah.
Because that's like, YouTube, YouTube's gotten really polished and new, and Jimmy Fallon's on every other video, and it's like, but the reality is, YouTube had started out and should always be you making videos. And you making videos is not going to look like The Tonight Show. It's going to look like you making videos. And it might get better. You might get a new camera, and it'll look shinier. You might get a new editing program. It might look smoother. And you might get a new audio equipment, and it might sound better. But, like, it will do that over time. And you will build towards it as you develop your hobby/career.
Yeah.
And that's how it should be. And, you know, that's why you look at, like, your favorite YouTubers, and you go back to their first ones, and you're like, whoa, like, that was not good. And what made them your favorite YouTubers is the fact that they knew that but didn't stop.
Yeah.
And so when we make a video, we're like, okay, that's as good as it's going to get today.
Yeah.
Like, we shot. That's, you know, sometimes it'll be like, oh, well, like, sometimes we'll have an idea and we'll, like, work it out and go, that's not a good idea. And we just won't do that idea.
Yeah, we just won't do it. But we've had episodes of back issues, Off the Rack, and even and Letters Page. Really, those two shows where it's just like the audio was really messed up, and he just went through with it anyway.
Yeah, I get really pissed.
We could have scrapped it, but he was like, but we're never going to get those reactions back. And that's really what it comes down to. When you're not doing a scripted show, it's just like, you can't capture that again. Like, they had those reactions. Yeah. And, like, to ask them to do it again falsely just wouldn't be the nature of the show. So sometimes it's just like, this is going to suck, but we're putting it out anyway because we don't want to lose it.
But that makes me crazy. Like, when we're shooting back issues, like, that's why this guy's here. This is their newest audio guy, and he works great. But
And he's really pulling his weight around the office.
He really
now.
is. But his earlier incarnation was still a nice and a very expensive little device, but like 40 minutes into shooting, it'll turn off. And we'll do an episode that's an hour and a half, and I'll go, I've lost almost half of the goddamn video. Like, what am I going to do now? Like, and just the audio. But that's why you have backup audio. You know, like that guy has the backup audio on it too.
But it's not as
not
good.
great, but there's the most recent episode of Letters Page, which is our Duck Stravaganza.
Yeah.
This guy, I lost the audio for this. I don't know where it is because it's a one-man operation. Like, it's just me shooting, editing, audio mixing, blah. Like, it's just me pulling all the strings and operating all the pulleys. But like, I lost the audio. I don't know where it went. I checked everywhere. It was gone. But I had the backup audio, so I threw that into audio, the Adobe one. I don't know what it's called. Audition. And I just cleaned it up as best I could and put it out. And I was like, sorry about the audio, gang, because like for whatever reason, there's always 4 or 5 people in the comments who are like, hey, your audio is the worst I've ever heard. I've never heard worse audio in my entire life. And then there's like 200 people who are like, love the episode, it was great as always. And I'm like, dude, I don't know what rig you're listening to the show on, but like, I think you're overthinking it.
They're superheroes.
Yeah,
I don't know.
but like that's the comment that I internalized, and I'm like, the audio sucks in this one, but no one complained, and I think it's because, well,
You got ahead of it.
I got ahead of it.
DuckTales. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, it was the power of Darkwing Duck.
Oh,
I don't know.
Darkwing Duck. Wow, I automatically went to DuckTales.
He's in the same universe.
Yeah, but kind of not. Like, yes.
I know, it's weird.
It is.
You know, they tried to say that like they're in 2 different universes. I'm like, it's Launchpad McQuack. It's like, yeah, but that's the Launchpad McQuack of the Darkwing Duck.
It's a multiverse.
No.
Yeah, I'm
No,
fine
they're
with
in the
that.
same universe. Scrooge McDuck and Magic and Dispel should be in Darkwing Duck. Anyway, I don't
they're
want to turn
not.
this into Duck issues or something.
I'm gonna go.
Yeah, let's not do that. Anyway, moving on. I hope that answers your question. The only videos we've ever truly scrapped were we've lost episodes of Letters Page.
Yes.
Which kills me because, like, I'll
That
never get that
sucks
back.
Because like someone sent that to us, and like we are honored and love to open those things on camera,
Yeah.
and to have that be lost,
Yeah.
was like, that sucks.
Yeah, and I
then-
try to acknowledge it by being like, hey, we lost the video, I'm sorry. Like, but we've lost them. Like,
Yeah.
either they got deleted by accident or they didn't, or the audio got, or the video got corrupted or something, but like,
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that is a problem too. You never know when like a file's just gonna be like, hi, I messed up.
yeah.
Now I'm done.
But I've never shot a show. No, that's not true. We've shot shows that have never been seen, but you didn't like them, so they've never been released.
Me?
Yeah.
What was it?
There was one show that Tiffany and Danielle were stars
Hang
of.
on, let's find out what I said no to.
Actually, I released it on the Patreon
Oh, don't.
as a reward. It was a
Well,
show where
we're just finding out all kinds of
it was
things
called
right now.
it was called the First Three or something. It was Tiffany and Danielle were gonna watch comic book TV shows.
Oh my god!
And watch the first 3 episodes and then judge it based on the
I
first 3
hated
shows.
that show. I was such garbage.
It was Arrow for when Arrow
Not
premiered
the show, like
on Netflix.
it
or
was.
whatever.
I said I was garbage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was hot garbage on that show.
Oh.
That
yeah.
was not
Well,
good.
I liked it. I thought it was a fine show. I had to cut it, so I spent like 4 hours cutting a show that no one ever saw.
I'm so sorry.
But it was a good idea. I thought it was a good idea. But that's a show that no one's ever seen,
Yeah.
except for people on Patreon.
Yeah, I guess also we had like years and years, or not years ago, but like a long time ago, we did a bonus round, and it was on Super Mario Brothers 2.
Yes.
Because I had never played it, and so like that never came out.
It's just sitting on my hard drive.
It just lives there. It just never came out. It was fine.
It was because bonus round wasn't performing,
No.
and we were like, eh.
Yeah, and we were worried too because Nintendo's so like copyright heavy sometimes.
Yeah, that was when the
We were
big
like,
yeah.
we didn't want to get hit, so we're just like, let
And
it go.
the audience was really like leaning towards in the comics, and I was like, if we release this Mario episode now, it'll
Yeah.
be like they might turn,
No.
be like, what is this?
I know, I totally agree.
Yeah.
But I forgot about the first 3.
Yeah, I don't remember if it was called the First
I don't
Three
think
or
it
not.
was,
It was a
but-
really good show though. It was really fun.
Well, there you go.
Anyway,
I
maybe they'll come back. Every good idea will like resurface if it's good enough, you know,
or not.
or it'll stay buried forever.
Who knows?
But join the Patreon if you want to watch that episode. Yes.
So how long does it take you to cut like most of the different shows you have? Because you have a bunch of different shows that are different lengths.
Yeah.
And if it's like a one-man like army, I know it's like super tough. So
Yes.
How long? Yeah, like do you watch the whole thing and have to keep rewatching it?
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. It's rough.
Oh, and it's not just rough for him because sometimes he'll be editing something that I'm in, and like he will, the way he edits, he'll go back and like you'll hear the same clip 10 times, and I just hear myself saying something that I messed up 10 times. I'm like, you have to stop.
Yep.
I hate myself.
Yeah.
I'm
It's,
just like, yeah, I know. I didn't say that right. Thanks.
Yeah.
He's just trying to find the place to cut it, but like I'm just hearing it because he doesn't wear headphones.
Yeah.
So yeah.
They're stifling. I like to fill my house with sound.
So I'll be like playing something or doing something, whatever, and like it's just like it just gets in there, and I'm like,
Yep.
or it'll be you saying something over and over
Yep.
again. Yeah.
Yep.
It's awesome.
It's hard. I took a public speaking class in college, and I was in every play in high school, and I was in every theater class in high school. So by the time I got to public speaking class, I was like, I got this in the bag. No problem. They're like, give a speech on this bullshit topic. And I go up there and like, I'm speaking in front of an audience that doesn't want to see me and doesn't want to hear what I have to say and doesn't care what I have to say, and I don't mean what I say. And I completely choked. I just fell apart. And we had to tape it and watch it and then evaluate it. And the worst part of it was watching the tape. And watching myself on camera and watching myself suck was one of the most frustrating things in my entire life. But it was very, very rewarding because like I had to do that. Now I then said to myself, I will never do that again. It actually like hurt me and my confidence. I was like very like introverted after that and like really didn't want to do public speaking ever again. And it takes a lot to like it takes very little to destroy any confidence you have, by the way. But like editing and wanting to do a channel and being like, I want to be a YouTuber. I want to do this YouTube thing. I had to shoot. No one wanted to be the subject of my show. Nobody wanted to learn comics and then become the host of Back Issues.
It wasn't even just that. It was like we just didn't like. We were just like goofing around. We were like, I
Right.
don't want to be the no.
Yeah, I'm like, we'll do this, and you'll be the star, and I'll
Don't wanna
put
do it.
everything on you. And I was like, if it's ever gonna happen, I have to do it. And so
Yeah.
I did it. I'd shoot it, and I hated it. And I do it like 1,000 times, 40 takes. No, it sucks. Then I have to go back, look at the editing, and watch all 40 takes. Watch myself screw up 40 times. So that's fun, but it's like, you know. But going through that process taught
Yeah.
me like, okay, now I've seen it all, and they'll never see it. I'm cutting it all. It's all
Yeah.
going anyway.
But all right. So how long does it take you to cut?
Oh,
Back
yeah,
issues.
but the question, right? Well, my
I looked
point
back
is-
around. I was like, hang on, we gotta.
Well, I take a long
We're
time to get to
circling
a
the
point.
wagons
But my
here.
point is, you know, like, but you have to watch yourself do that, and you'll learn a lot and blah. But yeah, how long does it take?
Depends, I think, on the episode.
Yeah,
sometimes.
Back Issues takes an hour and it takes about an hour and 20 minutes now.
Just
I have
to do the first edit.
just to shoot it.
Oh, to shoot it. Yeah.
To shoot it.
Depending.
If it's a shorter book, it's an hour. Because now I've noticed, like, I'm like, oh, it's a short book, 45 minutes. Put 40 minutes on the clock,
It's
Ben.
never that.
And that's an hour and a half. I'm like, did it not work again, Ben? He's like, oh shit, oops, the timer's going off. When I edit, I got Back Issues in front of me. I'll just play, and I'll usually play like a Super Mario Run on my phone while I'm like, so I'm just listening. And if I hear something really funny, then I'll look at it and I'll go, okay, what did they say? Oh, Ethan made a good reaction there. And then I will edit by playing with like the zoom ins or the close cuts or whatever and see if that's. So that's 5, 10, 20 minutes of that. And then play the episode again. I gotta listen to the whole show. Oh, and also I gotta like listen for a visual cue. I mention a page, or somebody says, that looks crazy. Oh, that means I gotta drop in an image. So then I gotta grab a placeholder thing in my editing timeline, drop that in for where the image is gonna go into my notepad, write down what the image has to be, put that in there, then I can resume the show. So it takes about 3 hours to edit a 1 hour show.
And then you have to export it and
Well, then
render and the whole thing.
Yeah, rendering and exporting, then it's another 2.5 to 3 hours.
Yeah. So that takes
yeah.
a while. And then when I used to help you,
Yes.
it would take me double whatever time it took him because like I was like, I just don't know what I'm doing. So I'd be like, I gotta cut this, and he was like, stop being a perfectionist.
Yes.
I'd be like, I don't like how this clip looks. He's like,
Well, I don't care. It has to be out tomorrow. Like, it has to be out tomorrow. Like,
so then Sal just started taking over because I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know what I'm doing.
yeah, I mean, but you were helpful. Because, like, there were
Yes.
times when, like, I'm away, and you like, she cut the Mad Love episode.
I did, which was like the scariest thing because I'd never done back issues. Like, he was like, he would let me, not let me, but like I would help cut like off the rack. I would help cut like any other random things. I did the Lego thing that Ethan did. I cut that. I was like, fine. He's like, but now you have to cut back issues. I was like, oh, what?
Yeah.
Because like what he does there is like his brand of humor. Like it's what he thinks is funny. And then I'm like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know why that's funny.
Yeah.
or why you think that's funny.
I don't know why you think that's funny, but you sure thought that was funny.
Yeah, but
so
look
like,
at you idiots laughing. That's why I don't have other people edit the show. I mean, not like you. I just mean like I don't trust.
That's why I'm not
who
allowed
ed-
back
like,
there
It's
anymore.
why I don't like find editors and hire interns and stuff like that. I can't trust you not to do it in a way that I want it to be done. And it's not like, you'll do it your way. You'll do it the way you want to see it. And it's like, but I want you to see my show, and I want to see you. I want to focus on what I think is funny.
You're a little bit of a control freak.
Yeah,
It's okay.
yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. That's
But
fine.
yeah, and I'm always happy when we have a shorter show.
Yeah.
Letters page is the easiest one to shoot because there's no pictures and most people just want to see what we did or what we got. So
Yeah.
we don't have to do like pictures and stuff. It's just the show.
Yeah. So that one's pretty quick.
That one's the easiest. I'm like, yay!
Yeah, and when we used to have our shooting scheduled differently, he would do off the rack. It had to be done because we would shoot it and it had to come out like within a few
We
hours.
used to shoot on
after shooting it.
Mondays. I would have to have it out on Tuesday morning.
So like when we shot in the evening and they would go out to dinner, so he wouldn't be home till like 11 o'clock, 11:30, and then he'd edit, and that took about like an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Yep, and then I have to export it. So like I'd go to bed at 3:30 and have it ready to go.
Right, but like so it just depends on like the length of the show and honestly just how smoothly it went, because like anytime we have to do takes, like unless we can like mark like or we cut or anything like that, but then you gotta go through the footage anyway because I was like,
Yep.
oh, I like that intro, but I like the rest of this.
Yep.
So it depends.
The funny thing
But
is,
it's a lot, and it's all
doing-
on him now.
Yeah, but doing it for 4 years, it's so much easier to edit because I'll know to do it right the first time or the second time. Like we don't have to do 14 takes. I don't have to like. There are so many. There are fewer cuts in back issues now than there ever were.
Yeah.
And it's because I know, like, not to flub a line.
Yeah.
Or like an explanation, because it's not like they're lines. I don't learn what I'm going to say. It's
Right,
more like,
and it's not like Ben or Ethan now ever do the thing where they take their phone out or like they're like, oh, my phone wasn't on silent, so hang on.
yeah,
it's
they
gonna-
don't do that anymore. Yeah, a lot of like the bugs have been worked out of the show.
Yeah, so that helps.
So that's easier to cut. So like, while back issues will still take like double the time it took to shoot it, that's still better than it ever was. But yeah, I hope that answers your question and more.
Yeah, always and more. Whatever
it's always
question you ask
more.
us is always going to be and
That's
more.
the thing. I'm like 5 videos a week, more. How about
Always
this?
More.
Yeah. How about a show where we open up stuff you give us? How about a show where it takes as much effort to cut and put together as back issues, but we do 3 books?
I like that show a lot.
That's my
so
favorite
just
show.
Get over it.
Good, the Bad, the Ugly is one of my favorite shows. Thank you, Red Letter Media, for giving me the idea.
Inspired. It was inspiration.
It was literally, I fought against that show. You guys didn't ask, but I fought against that so much. They were like, we should just do that show. And I'm like, no, what if they see it and they call me a hack? And you're like, they're never going to see it. They're not going to call you a hack. And who cares? It's too good of an
so
idea.
Seriously, I was like, and if they did, that means they're watching, so...
And I'm like, oh, yes! They're still not watching, but we're getting fat off it. No, it's becoming its own thing, and it's my favorite show. I just
Yeah.
love talking about it. We never gotten to do a chance to talk about Curse of the Spawn.
Seriously, that's like, I'm like...
It's the worst book.
I'm
we've
like
ever
not
done.
even looking forward to anything else we have to read now after that. I was in New Hope, and there was like this little shop there, and in the back they had a whole bunch of McFarlane toys, and the one up front had Curse of the Spawn on the top of it. I was like, I can't escape this thing now.
Oh, we should buy it.
No!
Did you know they made a Desiccator figure?
Yes, because you told me about it, because you were editing that, and you're like, so he was convinced they had not made a Desiccator figure, and then he looked it up on Amazon, and he's like,
Of course they made a Desiccator figure. Who's Desiccator? Watch The Good, Bad, and the Ugly.
you don't want to know. I can already tell you that.
It's a good one.
The trade is here.
Oh, no!
I saw it out on the cover.
Really?
Yeah.
You saw it out?
What?
Someone had it out? Like
It's
displayed?
in one of the boxes.
Oh, okay.
sweet. I'll
Okay,
buy
good.
it.
It's- I saw for a second I was like, it's all one of these end caps. Like someone's really proud of it.
Yeah, I'll buy it. This is the best part. I love it. Like it used when I grew up as a kid. Like I was like I had to cherry pick my comics. I had to get like the most bang for my buck. 'Cause my parents hated the hobby, and like, yeah, they talk a good game now on the show, but like no, they were like no, play soccer. Jokes on them. But like I had to cherry pick my comics, and like now I could buy any comic I want. Not because I'm drowning in money, but because I can write it off my taxes.
Also, because you're an adult.
Also, because I'm an adult and I buy what I want. I eat corn pops at night.
He does.
I mean, you know.
So does
Seriously.
anybody else have any questions?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
There.
I'll get, yes.
There and then there.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know what you guys thought of Dark Knight's Metal.
So solid 3.5 out of 5.
3.5 out of 5?
Yep. Yeah.
It was like a summer blockbuster. That's what it felt like to me. Like I was just like,
but like a Jerry Bruckheimer one, not a Michael Bay one. Didn't ruin your childhood or make you feel
No.
sad. It was just kind of like, it was like, all right, well, I see where you're going with
right,
this.
and like clearly now knowing the news that we know about what Snyder's gonna be working on next, I'm like, oh, it's not a Batman book. This is a Justice League book.
Yeah.
And like for me, it really felt like those like that last page where it's just like we're all a little metal. I'm like, that was the end of the book, and then someone said, but you need to do more because then they're like a totally different artist comes in, and I'm just like, I didn't ask for any of this.
Nope.
I
But you know what? Like, you needed a denouement in that book. Like, you needed a moment where you're like, oh.
No, I didn't. It's metal.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
The book was over.
Yeah, it was over.
And then it was like, but I'm not. Now they're having
But
dinner.
everybody loved Mikkel Yannen's art on War, Jokes, and Riddles, so
Right,
why not
and-
bring him back and
And
remind
now,
everybody of that?
And now for some reason, everybody showed up to a dinner party where Alfred provided tuxes.
Yeah. That's cute. I
Why?
like that moment.
No, but why?
I don't know.
When have you ever gone anywhere? They're like, and here's your tux.
I'm not that fancy.
Oh, okay, that's what it is.
Bruce Willis got them in The Fifth Element, remember? He had a whole drawer of them.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize we were on Flossed in Paradise. Anyway, overall, like it was what it was.
The art was great.
The art was really fun. I was like, cool. They brought Sandman in. That was fun.
Too
for
bad
me.
he didn't get it.
No, he really didn't. But
He's like, ooh, Sandman. My wife loves this book.
But he did. He brought him in. And that was cool.
So mean. I'm sorry.
I think that book had amazing like single moments.
Yes.
Like there were some really great
That never
single
pay off.
moments. No, I gotta say like the Wonder Woman Hawk girl or Hawk Woman like jumping in at the end with like the battle cry at the end of
that
like
was
the fifth
awesome.
issue. That was awesome.
What happened?
Well, I mean like
Then they kept fighting.
yeah, and then
Oh, look, all the Dark Knights from the Elseworlds worlds.
they
What
all
are they- and then they all
held
disappear.
hands. No, yeah, like there were a lot of like unfinished moments. I think he just was like, it was a lot of like things he wanted to see, and like a lot of like they're setting up to obviously do something else at some point. But like
Yeah.
it was just like here are cool images that I'm gonna make Greg Capullo draw, and we're all like, thank you.
Yeah.
It's like I did want to see that, and if that's how I saw it, fine.
Yeah.
And like overall, I think it's gonna be a different trade read than it was
Yeah.
as like floppies because like any delay on that, like you were like there was so much that happened, especially early on because early on it was like packed and dense, and by the time we got to the end, it was like there wasn't as much substance.
Yeah.
I just feel like he couldn't quite figure out how to spread that substance out throughout the whole book.
All I know is you will see what we really think about it on back issues when it comes out in trade.
Oh, yeah.
'Cause I'm going to buy that shit.
And do
Hardcover.
it.
Done. Be like, I don't know about this.
We'll see how it goes.
I will say, I at the end of the day, I did dig it. I
Yeah.
was like, good for you.
Yeah.
I liked it more than Zero Year.
Well, we all know that.
That's fair.
And then
Yes.
You talked about being kind of sensitive to like the viewership that you had for certain issues of back issues.
Yeah.
What are some dream episodes of back issues
That'll never get made?
that'll never get?
oh
Watchmen.
yeah.
Okay.
You're never going to see
You don't
Watchmen.
think there's a viewership for Watchmen?
Oh,
No,
there is.
there is. It's just
Everybody read it.
We don't know it.
What am I going to do? Hey, remember when Rorschach did this? Yeah.
Yes. It wasn't that fun.
Wasn't it cool? Yes.
Sal will only cover the pirate part.
No. Right? Like, well, we're gonna go over like the letters that are in the book, like, and then let's read the letters together. Like, it's hard. It's hard to do, and like,
Yeah.
no one's gonna like. Nobody wants. You trust me. You think you want to see it, you don't. Yeah. We won't do any more spawns. We'll never do Gen 13 again.
You want to do the max. That's
I
want
want to do the max. The max is happening.
But
I
like, but
don't
you
give a
have,
shit. I'm doing the max.
But that was one of those where he was like,
They're never
for
gonna
a long
watch
while,
it.
he's wanted to do it, and he just wouldn't do it because he's like, they're not gonna watch it. Who's gonna?
They're not
see
gonna
that?
watch it because like people are like, it's bizarre because like people love the show and they love the channel and they like watching us, but then they'll go, but Booster Gold's in it and I'm not gonna watch that. And I'm like, but don't you want to see our reaction to Booster Gold? That's the show. The show is, you're not watching the show to find out what happened in this
Maybe
book,
you
are you?
are.
Well, you're doing it the wrong way.
No.
Because you could do it on like Benny's channel and it'll take half the time and you won't get any snark.
That's not true. Saga, I think, proved.
Yes.
I think there are plenty of indie books I would love to do, but like we know there's not gonna be anyone.
Yeah,
who
right.
watch
Like, well, I mean, like Hack and Splash Page died because like
that. It died
because nobody watched it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's the bottom line. Like, a lot of work went into that show.
Especially
and,
the
like,
last
no
episode.
return. Yeah. Yeah, East of West.
No, it was Manifest Destiny.
Manifest Destiny.
I was like, that's my favorite episode that I've ever shot of anything, because I did that all. Well, I didn't do it on my own because Danielle was with me, but like you were gone,
Yeah, I was out of town.
and I filmed it all, and then I wasn't gonna release it, and he cut it and he put it out there, and I was just like, cool.
Yep.
It's out there.
Yeah, and it's really cool. And
Yeah.
like, the dude who wrote it didn't care or retweet it.
You can care at all.
Like,
I don't
thanks.
care. That's not why I made it.
This
I
is
made
the
it for
most
me.
effort anyone will ever put into your book ever in the world, and you didn't even give it a like.
Right?
Just like acknowledge it.
Yeah,
Right.
like, and look, well, that's not what we do. What we do. We're
No,
not-
I like that episode because I like that episode.
Right.
Like I did
Well,
that
and
because
you
I
did it
wanted
because
to.
you like the book.
Yeah.
But it's like, if you're not going to get support from anybody,
Yeah,
then I'm not
but-
going to waste my time.
Otherwise, dreams. I mean, like I think it'd be really hilarious to do sex criminals.
Yeah.
But like that's not happening. Like, and not even just for viewership. I'm just like
For Ben and Ethan. Like, what?
Ben would have a great time. I don't know what Ethan would do. I don't know. If
I
he
know,
could-
but that's why it's like, I want to see that. They're like, he's like, oh no.
Ethan might just shut down. I don't know, or
Yeah.
he might.
Be great.
I mean, they saw pages of the Sextillion in Saga, and like that was like all I ever hear about now. It's just like you showed us that,
Yeah.
and I'm like, yes,
No, it's true.
but come on.
But-
I Kill Giants is something I'd like to do, but like I don't know if I can do it because like it's just too personal.
It's too personal.
It's too personal,
it's
but
too,
like it deserves
raw.
it
Yeah.
because it's such a good story.
It deserves something else. I don't know. It deserves like reverence without like the, I don't
without
know.
those two chuckleheads.
Without the package. I don't know. It's a good book though.
There have been a couple of books that you've picked up that were like mainstream that you're like,
Nah, we're not gonna do that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, there's a lot of like Spider-Man books I want. I mean, like, here's a little insight. We almost did a new show called Spider-Man Back Issues, where it's I only do Spider-Man. That's not gonna happen.
well, I thought you should do that for
I-
Batman, but
Yeah.
One view.
Yeah, we almost did. Bat Issues is almost a show. That almost happened. Where it's like all the Batman books we're gonna do are gonna be on one show. It's Back Issues on Wednesdays and Bat Issues on Mondays, and we just release Batman Back Issues, and then like Maximum Security on Wednesday. But we're probably not ever gonna do that.
No.
Spider-Man was actually more likely to happen.
Yeah.
But like, I think there's actually an audience for that. But like, it's just, hey Sal, do you want to edit 6 hours of stuff instead of 3?
yes, he does.
No, I don't.
No, you do.
I do Good, Bad, and Ugly now.
There have been a couple of heroes too where you wanted to do them, but you knew they wouldn't perform.
Yeah, like we'll never do the Spectre.
Which is a shame.
You have Tom Mandrake Spectre.
I do.
And that'd be really cool.
I
But
know.
like, no one's gonna watch it.
No. No,
And,
I mean, like, that's even, like, things that we have coming up, I'm like, no one's going to watch it. We're still going to do it, though. Like, we do have one that's kind of a dream that we've already shot that I did. It's
Yeah.
going to be coming out in the next couple of
What?
weeks. We already shot it. It's the one I did
Oh,
recently.
yeah.
That's kind of a
The
dream
manga
for me.
episode.
Yeah, that was kind of a dream for me. No one's going to watch
We
it.
put a lot of effort in that episode, and I don't care if nobody watches.
I don't either.
That's
like,
a great
I really,
one. That comes out next week.
Yeah.
So how do you guys choose your indie books? Because some of those back issues episodes are my favorite.
Thank you.
Okay, so how we've chosen indie books really has come down to just me being like, we have to do this.
Yeah.
Like,
Saga was a
seriously.
phenomenon, so it's like we have to do Saga.
Yeah, like, because I've been reading Saga. Like, Saga was one of those things that literally, like, when I first, like, was kind of getting more into, like, exploring indie books, like, I kept seeing it in the stores, and the covers were so striking that finally I was like, I'm doing it. I'm buying it. So I just bought a bunch of them, and I went home, and I was like, I have to get the rest of them.
Yeah.
And that was, like, I had been so used to, like, finding series later on that, like, I didn't have to wait. And, like, now I'm in this thing where I'm like, I have to wait every month for this book to come out, and it won't come out. And then I'm like, I'm sorry, you're going to take a how many month break just because you need it?
Yeah.
Fine, I get it. But, like, God.
Yeah.
So, like, when that came on, like, as a possibility, I was like, first of all, that was the first thing I ever hosted.
Yeah.
Like, which was, like, mind-blowing, and you were sick.
Yep.
So, like, that was like, I'm like, let's just do this. Let's just give it a shot.
Yeah.
In terms of witches, that was something that I loved, and
Witches, I insisted. We were like, we need to do Witches.
Yeah,
Like,
we needed
Witches
to do
is
Witches.
like, it's just, most of it was like, people who work in the mainstream industry too,
Yeah.
like, like Brian K. Vaughan, yeah, we're gonna do that.
Yeah.
Like Scott Snyder, yeah, we could do that.
Yeah.
Like, we can get away with it maybe.
Like, I
Witches
know-
didn't perform nearly as much as it should have.
it didn't, but there was an oversaturation.
Yeah.
At the time when it came out. But
Yeah,
like,
everybody was doing Witches.
apparently. But that was just, I thought that was a great
But it
book.
mattered. Like, it was
Yeah.
just, you had an idea for the show too. That's the one where we were like around a campfire.
Yeah.
And,
in terms of things that are coming up, or like I'd like to see coming up, I haven't even told you I want to do this.
Okay.
But like, I want to do God Country.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Like, I want to do that. It might make Ben cry again. Like,
yeah.
part of my criteria sometimes for picking an indie book
It's
with
the
Ben,
Field of Dreams effect.
and I'm like, is this gonna make Ben cry? Now that I've done it twice, it's like a drug. I'm like,
Let's do it again.
give me those tears, Ben. So like, I like to do that.
No, that's
a lot
fine.
of
God
times it just
Country's
has to do
approved.
with like, it's a book that I feel so strongly about that I'm like, we just have to do it. Like, I don't care. Like,
Yeah.
I just like the story so much.
Yeah.
In terms of like other shows that we did that had indie books, it was just things that I was like, people should be talking about this. Why aren't people talking about this? I like this book.
Yeah.
I'm not a great, like, I don't feel like I'm a great thermometer for books.
It's not true.
You're
You're like, hey, this looks cool. Oh, it's sold out. It's huge.
Well-
it blew up. Like, you were like, God Country seems like a neat idea. I really think this is cool. And then it was like, oh, it's a phenomenon. Oops. Witches, same deal. You're like, Witches. I love horror books. Oh, whoops. Everybody loves it, and they're making a movie out of it. Or something.
Regardless, though, like, the fact that people respond to the books that we talk about that are independent, like, I'm just like, that's really great. Because,
Yeah.
like, there are some really great indie books out there. And there are some really not great indie books out there, let's be honest. Like, just like there are really great, like, mainstream comics, and there are some that you're like,
They're
wow.
like, how is this? Like, why are you wasting your money?
Yeah, it's the same thing in the indie community, and there's so many more of those. Like, there are a lot of DC and Marvel books, but there are a lot of indie titles, and it's just like, how do I navigate this? So, like,
Yeah,
if I
because
can...
they're all movie pitches. They're
Yeah.
not like, I mean like they're just excuses to be movie. But I'm just mean like,
Yeah.
in order to sell you on a new indie book, I
Yeah.
have to tell you about the whole world. It's
Yeah.
like there's a new Spider-Man book. It's good. Oh, okay, cool. I'll pick it up. Like
Yeah.
there's a new Image book. It's really good. What's it about?
Yeah.
Like, well, it's about this girl who's being tortured in her basement. Like I gotta give you this whole backdrop. I'm like, what? Oh, like that's not what you would read. I mean, come on. Silent Hill's another one that probably we'll never see.
Silent Hill will never... That's a dream for me. I'll never do Silent Hill. I won't because no one's going to watch it. But
No.
God, that's a dream for me to do. Overall, just picking them, though, like, I rely heavily on the summaries that Image puts out there. There are some that I read that I'm like, that sounds really good. And I'll pick it up, and I'll give it at least the first issue. Sometimes I'll give it more than the first issue. Like, I was reading a book called Regression. I gave that at least 3 issues, and it just couldn't hold me. I just couldn't get into it the way I thought I was going to.
Yeah.
Extremity, though?
Yeah.
I love Extremity. I thought that was, like, the first, like, issue out, I was like, this is great. I have to have the rest of this. Like,
Yeah.
it's just, like
Yeah.
so inventive and, like, out there and, like, just, like, does a great job of, like, combining, like, the super violence that I kind of like. As
Yeah.
it turns out, the more I look at the books that I own, I'm like, wow.
It's dark. I will say the rule of thumb that I said, like where it's like, oh, a major creator worked on this, like
That's
I guess
not-
we could do it. Like that's not the rule of thumb because
No,
like
that's not my rule
Reborn
of
will
thumb.
never be on back issue.
No, Reborn, like, I would love
But
to
it's
do
so
Reborn.
good.
It's such a good book. But, like,
But like no one's gonna watch.
no one's going to
Reborn.
watch it.
And that's the thing, like, and I
that's
I
like-
hate that that's the thing. Like,
Yeah.
and no one's gonna watch it. That sucks. If you're a loyal fan, if you're a subscriber and you love what we do,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
hearing that
when
sucks.
we say no one's going to watch it, that's just, if you guys
I
are
know
gonna watch
you're
it,
gonna watch
you're
it.
not no one.
No,
Yeah.
but we are trying to grow the channel.
Yeah.
As you probably have figured it out. We're trying to grow. We're trying to
Spoilers.
we would like the goal would be for everybody to be paid off the back of ComicPop.
Yeah.
And it's not here yet, but we are still big enough where like one of us can be sustained by it, and we touch so many people that it's like that's almost
worth it.
enough of it. Like that's we don't need the rest.
100% worth it.
But I feel like we can reach a level that everybody can get what they want.
Yeah.
And I hate to say like no one will watch that, and so we're hamstringing ourselves from doing something really cool that like our audience would really enjoy, just because it doesn't have mainstream appeal.
Yeah.
And ComicPop does not have mainstream appeal. So it's like, why would we be so hypocritical as to deny ourselves doing something that doesn't have mainstream appeal? But when you're in a position where you're trying to grow your channel, you have to also listen to like the wins and the trends and be like, this is what people are doing or what they need or what they think they need in order to grow or to change or to develop their audience. I'd like to be in a position, I dropped them before, like Red Letter Media, where like we can do a whole show the way they did recently, where they did a whole episode on Freddy Got Fingered. A whole episode about that Tom Green movie. And it did well.
And people watched it.
watched it. I would love to be in that position.
Right.
Where we can be like, we're going to do an episode that I want to do and I don't give a shit.
Yeah. The indies, we just kind of pepper them in. So, like, I have to be super selective when I get that opportunity.
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, what
Like,
are we going to
we're gonna
do?
do that. Like,
Right?
it's a
Because it's
precision
like,
strike.
so technically we've done 2 volumes of Saga, right? Like
3.
3. Oh, yeah, we did. I forgot that one.
Yeah.
But like each time we saw diminishing returns in that, so we just kind of held off for a bit. But now we've been hearing people requesting it more and more. So we might do it again, but then that takes the slot of another indie I could do.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, okay, am I going to do that, or do I want to try to like push Reborn?
Right.
Like, am I going to try to convince you that I think it's
That
going to
you
work?
think Reborn would be
I
successful?
think it's going to be great. You're like, I don't know.
Reborn might do well if
Right.
Greg Capullo himself goes on YouTube and says, "Watch this episode."
Right, but you know what I mean? Like, where it's just like, okay, we kind of, now that we have a schedule, like, I get to see, I'm like, all right, I know what I'm hosting, which at times gives me anxiety sometimes
Yeah.
because, like, dates come up really fast, and he's like, don't forget, next week you're hosting Back Issues. I'm like, of course, and I'm totally ready for it. Don't worry about it. Oh my God, where's my book?
Yeah.
We're finally going to be doing Hellblazer on the channel. So that's going to be a hell of a thing.
Well, you'll do like one of the story arcs. It's not going to be like all of Hellblazer.
But like, I'm not going to replace Hellblazer to do
God Country.
to do Constantine, to do God Country, because I want to do Hellblazer. I want that to be out there. We haven't done that yet. That's DC technically, but it's Vertigo. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
getting my pseudo indie fix there.
Right.
So like, then it's like, but where are we going to put it?
Yeah. Yeah. There's that. Big Hero 6 is another one coming.
Oh yeah, that's right. We don't have to do that.
I think we should do Big Hero 6.
Like the original, like
the Chris Claremont Big Hero 6.
yeah. Which, by the way, I got my copy signed by him. We were at New York. He was there. I had my Big Hero 6. And I go up there, and, like, there was a girl, and she's taking the comics to
Yes.
give to him. And it slides down to him, and he looks down, and he goes, whose Big Hero 6 is this? I'm like, me? And he's like, I haven't seen this in a really long time. And he just starts talking about it, and, like, there was, like, this other guy who was, like, trying to get in on the conversation. I'm like, dude, you didn't bring Big Hero 6. I brought Big Hero 6. I'm talking to Chris.
Take your Jim Lee X-Men away.
Get out of here.
We all have a copy.
But, like, it was fun because, like, he hadn't seen it in a really long time, and he, like, gave insight on the movie and how he was just like, that's not my book.
That's not mine.
That's not mine.
That's Claremont all over.
Yeah.
That's not mine.
That's not
I wouldn't
mine.
do that.
Nope.
I'm like, yeah, we know.
It's like, I
But it
read
was still fun.
Yeah, that was one of those I read first. I was just like, this looks fun.
Yeah. Yeah, that was random.
Yeah, that was random.
That's your barometer, man.
That's my barometer.
That's
That's
the
it,
thing.
literally
No, but
it.
I'm saying, like, you picked up Big Hero 6 by accident.
Yeah, and then it
You're like,
became
that looks really fun. And then, like, it became a big movie.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
That's how you get movies made, people. You just leave comics out for me, and I'm just like, ooh, that looks fun.
You're like, that
movie.
one, make it a movie quick.
Any chance for a return to the Mastermind's DC supplement you're running as Harbor Patrol, I believe is the name?
Yes, Harbor Patrol. We've been looking for a DM.
Because the plan was, originally I was going to do it,
You were gonna DM.
but then I was like, then we were having a hard time, like, because Ethan couldn't do it.
I was toying with asking Scott Snyder. I don't think he'd say yes.
She gets Slot.
Slot does not want to have
I
anything
know.
to do with me.
I know. I know he doesn't.
We've spoken a few times. He's not my biggest fan, as you can imagine. But anyway, we want to thank you guys for hanging out. We'll do a quick thing at the end when we cancel the cameras and everything. But like, thank you guys so much for
Cancel them?
joining us. Turn them off. You know.
This is
Anyway.
behind the scenes. This is
This is
his-
the show.
This
This
is
is-
it.
none of this
You
will go
don't
in the
see
show.
any of this stuff.
Yeah, this is all
like-
cut. Anyway,
Except for when Ben spills water all over himself.
yeah,
Which was so I can't believe how off frame that was.
yeah, it was like he knew.
Like
I
that
think he was doing a bit.
He was not.
No, I know.
That was so spectacular.
Yeah, he spilled water on himself, and then I cut my finger on the clapper. That was when we had Thorgy on, and it was like, oh great, let's just make a good impression.
Don't we look awesome?
Yeah, we look like a bunch of morons. Anyway,
And
thanks
we
so much
are.
for hanging out with us and spending your evening watching us talk about stuff. But we'll see you guys later. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye.
Bye.